The Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction recently made a change to its rules regarding Washington State's school disciplinary processes, including and especially as it relates to the suspension or expulsion of students.
The change in law really had to do with keeping kids out of school. So there seemed to be kind of, I don't want to say a spike in numbers because that's not an accurate representation from the state, but there's just a large number of students who have been held outside of school because of a variety of issues. And the new state law really limits that down to a very narrow category in terms of, danger to the school, and then really around the sale of drugs. I mean, those are kind of the big areas that we would see as impact pieces. The law itself, I wouldn't say has a huge impact on us because we were, I don't want to say ahead of the curve on that, but we were already trying not to remove kids in that sense. And we just don't have the numbers that I think some of the other buildings across the state see in terms of expulsions. We've had very few.
Wenatchee High School has an annual enrollment of nearly 2,000 students and only expelled 3 during the 2017-2018 school year, according to Principal Eric Anderson. At the state level, however, over 41,000 students faced expulsion from a public school last year, which accounts for roughly 5% of Washington's entire student body. Anderson says in spite of his school's low expulsion rate, Wenatchee High is still taking steps to curb the need for ever keeping any of its students away from campus.
We don't have high numbers, but regardless, we about 3 or 4 years ago made a shift, even in our short-term suspension piece, really trying to keep kids in school. And so we've added what we call our Dean's Den, which is our in-school intervention room, where we have kids that make some bad choices and then we hold them accountable and keep them here on campus, more so than trying to remove them from campus.
Anderson indicates that any long-term absence from school can be devastating to a student, and expulsion and suspension are definitely no exception.
The data around attendance is huge. I mean, you miss 10 days of school or more in a semester, your likelihood of failure goes through the roof. And we know that. And so even now when we are suspending or expelling a student, we're holding a kid out. And the only reason we want to do that is if it is a safety issue associated with our building. Outside of that, we want them here. We want them getting as much direct instruction as they can get from us in our building. And ultimately, we want them to learn. I mean, we want them to be learning all the way through. We don't want to hold them out of an education. So even in the situation where we have had to expel some, we have worked with outside organizations to continue their education in just a different format.
According to Anderson, the experiential factors of any school's attendees plays a vital role in limiting the potential for expulsions and other disciplinary actions.
The culture of a building really plays into that kind of behavior that escalates in that respect. I mean, we can't always control the outcomes of student decisions, but when we create an atmosphere and a culture in our building that is positive, that is inclusive, we have our pride that we use here. But when we have that type of a culture in our building, you're really lifting students up and hopefully giving them a sense of hope that does not drive them into some of these decisions that they make that ultimately get them removed from school. And then we've just put things into place that continue to give them academic hope, which hopefully then continues them to say, I don't want to make this decision because if I choose this decision, I'm going to get removed. And right now I see a positive pathway towards my future.
The OSPI has given state schools 2 years to train their staffs and attain compliance with the new rules. The changes in the disciplinary codes for Washington students are the first in 4 decades. Reporting for iFiber One News, I'm Chris Hansen.